Hi, did you know that midlife is not a crisis, but an opportunity? Hi, my name is Michael Bartlett, Master Metaphysical Astrologer, and I'm here to talk about the what magic happens at the age of 60 and what I call the return to essence. This is part of my Astrology for Life transitions. This is the second part of that series. If you like what I'm presenting here, please hit the like button. Please share with your friends. Please comment. Please ask questions. I look forward to interactions with you whenever possible. So at the age of 60, there's some very interesting astrological things that happen. It makes perfect sense because as we know, there are many things that we do differently when we get around to the age of 60. But astrologically, what happens is we have what's called the second Saturn return. Now, that's the second time that the planet Saturn comes around to where it was in the beginning when you were born. It happened again around when you were 27, 28 years old. And it's this point of life where you are trying to come forward and be your authentic self in a way that is truly you. The progress sun moon birth reset happens. That means that the sun and the moon at the moment when you were born is actually being replicated in your progress chart, which means it's another sort of a reset that's quite fascinating. This is the fifth Jupiter return because Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the zodiac. So we've got our fifth Jupiter return. Then it's also the fifth Chinese zodiac return by element and by creature. So it's another great return to our sense of self. And finally, there is what we call the first house perfection. This is when the focus comes back to you again at the age of 60. So let's break this down a little bit so you understand a little bit more what we're talking about. So first, one of the first symptoms you might experience is a fear of irrelevance. You wonder, am I still needed? Am I still being seen? Do people even understand what it is that I have in within me? Saturn tests our legacy and value and asks the ego whether it is certain enough in itself, and asks also, what have you built that will last? These are the things we want to leave forward. Maybe it's a legacy or something you're considering at this point in your life. The second is a loss of identity after the roles shift. Who am I if I'm not a parent, a partner, or a professional? This is a lot of times when children leave home, when maybe you're getting ready to retire, or maybe you've decided you've had enough of the work that you've been doing for some time. You don't really want to do it anymore. And this is where the fifth return of Jupiter comes in and gives you the wisdom you need to say, hey, I've been around the block a few times and I know what I need to do here. The third symptom might be a spiritual emptiness or an overload, a sense of loneliness, a sense of, oh my gosh, what have I been doing my whole life? But the Chinese New Year reminds you this is your elemental reset. It's not too late and you're right on time. You're back where you where you began, but you're not the same. We can never visit the same river twice, is what this tells us. And so each time we revisit a river, or anywhere in our lifetimes, we are always a different person coming into that space. So, what is the wisdom that's come around? What is it that's given you the understanding of 6 decades on the planet and experiences that you've had that see things in a very different way now because you have knowledge, awareness, and experience backing them up? The fourth symptom might be physical and emotional aging. You're noticing your body's changing. You're wondering if you're still whole. Maybe you're starting to have diseases that are happening or sicknesses. And the most important thing is finding this aspect of acceptance and renewal rather than decline and creating and becoming your own invitation, going and doing the things you do to move your body. If you're going through menopause, then you're doing those things to help your body deal with that in a much better position than what you've been dealing with. So you're eating right, you're exercising, you're doing the things that you need to do feel better on every aspect of your life. This is the year for you. This is the first house perfection year. This declares that it's all about you. So what are you doing for you to make sure that you're going to be okay for however much time you have left on the planet at this point? Symptom number five is the existential anxiety of how much time do I have left, as I was just mentioning a second ago. Saturn in the old world was known as Chronos. He's the timekeeper. It's the time, the sands of time. He's asking what the truth is. Some people think that's really morbid. Why are we talking about death? Why are we talking about when we're leaving? But it's not death. It's not morbid. It's clarifying. It's understanding that your future is not as long as your past, and therefore there are certain things that you probably need to do that you haven't been doing in the previous 60 years. The sixth symptom is unlived dreams. I'm wondering, is it too late? You wonder, you've thought you've done so many things, you're wondering if any of it's meaningful, and you also think, is there anything left to even really do? But the truth is, at this age, you are becoming a distillation of all that you've been during this lifetime. And just as a fine liquor that is distilled, it takes the sweetness, the purest aspect of that which is within, and brings it forward for enjoyment and pleasure. That's what this time is for as well. It's not the end, it's a return to your original blueprint and the beginning of your most authentic self. Finally, the other thing that is a symptom is death. And the death shows up in many different ways, but the bottom line is it's a death of different parts of ourselves. It might be a death of a spouse or a partner. It might be the death of a child. It might be death of a dear friend. It might even be your own death you're going through, or maybe even contemplating. And either way, these are all major transitions and learning to be acceptant. Some people haven't had to live or experience or work with death many times in their lifetime. And so coming to these points of understanding the limitations of things and how cycles end and new cycles begin can be a little frightening. And so at this time, it's really important to find these new ways to be in relationship to these aspects so that you're not afraid, so that you are guided by the truth of what it is that you need to do. This is where astrology really comes in handy, because your own individual chart helps to define how you're going to be looking at these things, and maybe also the opportunities for how you can shift your awareness into ways that will make your life even better, more comfortable, more happy, more full of love and bliss that you're seeking. If anything that I'm talking about here stirs anything in you, once a month on the third Thursday of the month, I offer my threshold gatherings. If you'd like more information on that, please look me up at coremichael.com/groups. I'm also available for astrology readings. You can go to my booking page for that and set up something. Here are my social media opportunities for you to check me out if you'd like. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care and bye-bye.